Hello, how are you? I'm Professor Ricardo Brito. I'm Dean of the International Business School Americas, and I'd like to welcome you to say it's really great to have you here with us in this chat, in this webinar. Today, Today we are talking about a very important subject for you. We will explore how to develop leadership competence and how to do that, how to develop leadership competence through entrepreneurial and innovative activities within a company. This is an important topic for your personal development because a solid understanding of leadership can enhance your professional career, can develop your company, and also can support the economic development of your region, of your country, and for yourself too. All right? You know that your country needs leaders, both in the public and in the private sectors. During this webinar, I'm going to emphasize why leaders are so important inside organizations and how leadership is built. So, our subject here is the role of a leader as an agent of change and innovation inside a company. I'm going to talk about how people's creativity thinking leads to innovation. And I will also discuss a company's strategic thinking and how a good and creative idea can turn into something of value for clients and for the society. And last but not least, I'm going to discuss why innovation is vital to building a company's competitive advantage. In order to chat about these subjects in a very interactive way, at the end, we are going to have a Q&A session, a question and answer session. So if you want to share your opinion about the subject, log in into the chat box using your Google account at the right of your screen and send your contribution. Some of your colleagues have already sent their questions, their opinions, but if you want to participate, you just need to join us in the chat tab at the right of your screen. Okay? For that, well, for to make your login, you need to log in into your Google account. It's easy and free, all right? And also we are going to talk about scholarship opportunities to study with IBS Americas and have a life-changing experience abroad. Well, in order to structure our conversation, the things that I'm going to say are based on my experience as professor and as a consultant, but also based on the ideas of some renowned authors such as James Collins' classic Good to Great. This book is a very worthwhile read to help better understand the organizational leader's role. Regarding to innovation, there is a classic article by Peter Drucker called The Discipline of Innovation. I highly recommend you to read the free downloads and the articles we sent you. I'm going to use both authors, both studies, together with other studies that are shown on your screen to proceed with our discussion today. All right? So, here's the thing. Sometimes organizations are developing their work, basically doing today things that as they were doing in the past. But the world, the world is always changing. Clients are always searching for the next best thing. There is always a new competing company, an environmental change, and these changes demand that organizations reinvent themselves. And that's precisely where we find a leader's job. Leaders are people inside a company that can honestly evaluate what has been happening. What are the key competencies in the organization? What are the company's strengths and weaknesses, and offer new paths the organization must follow to stay relevant. If no one does it, believe me, the company is not going anywhere. Tomorrow it will be doing what it does today, and after tomorrow it's going to do what it did the day before, and then it's going to get stale. So this process of increasing, reinvigorating the organization, this process of enhancing the capacity to add value to the clients, this is a role played by the leaders in the organizations. What I'm going to discuss with you is how these leaders are shaped, starting by giving you a classic example. I think that comes in mind when we think about long-term leadership, which is John Kennedy. Kennedy, you know, the American president, I don't know if you are aware of it, in the beginning of the 60s, when he released what we know today as Apollo program, he established a goal to the United States, especially for NASA, but also to the nation as a whole. He said, look, I would like by the end of the 60s, he was in the beginning of the 60s, for the United States to take a man to the moon and bring him back safely in one piece. Without going into the merits if it's important to go to the moon or not, there is a debate about it today. In that context, Kennedy, this leader, was capable of mobilizing humanity's progress, using human, material, and financial resources to achieve this goal. This is a very classic example of leadership. Leadership is not about just collecting resources, but also creating the best conditions in the process of achieving a goal and identifying the correct competences necessary to build this path. Maximize the use of the capabilities of an entire organization, not just towards the goal at hand, but also towards completing many other objectives. Let me explain it better for you once it's very important. When you establish a new goal, when you say we want to do something different, you will have to acquire new competence as if an organizational musculature. And when developing these goals, these skills, these capacities, you can use these skills you develop to achieve the initial goals, but also to develop other activities. So a leader doesn't only help the company to achieve a specific long-term goal. A leader also helps the company to achieve many goals an organization may have during the course of actions taken to achieve the initial objective. In the case of the Apollo program, in terms of today's dollars, the investment was about $150 billion, a huge amount of money, not only considering inflation. $150 billion was vastly more than it's today. This money took the man to the moon, and what else? Well, computerized tomography. It was developed by Apollo program, and that's used up to the present in numerous areas, including medicine, the reduction of shape and size of computers, as well as other electronic devices, also stemmed from Apollo program. The microchip was developed in an effort to provide the astronauts with the tools necessary to get there and be back again. The computer I'm using here and the one you are using are, in some ways, thanks to the Apollo program. All those cordless devices we use to generate power, like power drills, were all technologies developed during the Apollo program and ended up benefiting American companies and then the world as a whole. So leaders play this important role. They identify long-term goals and push the company towards to achieve them. Kennedy, Kennedy was not the first leader in history. If you go way back in time, I don't know, if you think about the history of the great Egyptian pyramids, for instance, what they need to do to be built. When a pharaoh said, I want to build a pyramid here, their architects, their engineers, they were pushed to their limits to develop engineering skills or even astronomy skills. All the knowledge applied initially to build the pyramid itself was later used building cities, in the organization of the labor, to weather forecasting, the organization of plantation cycles, etc., etc. Well, to the organization of the Egyptian society as a whole, which was the most advanced civilization in the world at its time, 5,000 years ago. Think about it. With the world's biggest constructions, these 5,000 years old pyramids were only overtaken in height, size, complexity in the 19th century by modern man-made structure. In some, when a leader identifies a goal, it's beneficial under many different perspectives. And if you are able to develop in yourself these qualities, if you are able to play the role of a leader, you will contribute to your organization in the first place, and you will prosper within your own career too. All right? Well, if you have been attentive to what I have discussed so far, it must have come to your attention that there is a very important aspect that characterizes leadership. Usually, we are not focusing on charisma or being popular among your colleagues. We are talking about vision, capacity to recognize opportunities, capacity of leading a company to achieve goals. And this has a lot to do with education, both the individual and the social education of the people involved in the project. And unfortunately, investment in education is extremely unequal around the world. It seems like some countries have developed the idea that the less we spend in education, the better. If you look, for instance, at the table I show you now in your screen, made by OECD, with investment per student in elementary school, high school, and college education per country using 2016 data, you can see that some countries like Switzerland, the United States, Norway, these countries spend over 15, $16,000 per student per year with education. They are already rich countries, their companies are already leading companies in their markets, in their sectors, and they are still investing in education to develop even more. While poorer countries, shown at the right of this table, poor countries that need to spend more on education, need to invest in training their workforce to increase productivity, these countries are investing 4 or 5 times less in education. However, what we cannot do is stop looking for solutions. And what we do here at IBS Americas is to try to promote education. If you, at this moment, stop at your commitments, stop at your daily activities to join this conversation with us, it's because you share these values with us, promoting quality education abroad with the help of international scholarships. But we can talk about this later today. Well, skipping to the subject, the main question that shapes a leader, that really points an organization into the right direction, is that the leader is responsible for seeing what is where is possible to innovate and articulate these new ideas with the necessity of delivering value to the client. An effort that makes the client see and say, I see value in this. I can understand and access this new benefit the company is offering me. And where do these innovations appear in an organization? How does this organization leave this static condition and evolve into a dynamic company? In the article I have mentioned to you at the beginning of this chat, Peter Drucker says that the main source for corporate innovation are outside the company. In other words, it's the environment, an unexpected fact, an inconsistency, a new method required by a situation, a change in the market, a change in the society, a change in people's perception, a new available knowledge, technology. Those are the factors that make a company change. Those are the source that a company should use for promoting change. The leaders of an organization observe what is happening outside, observe those changes, and see how they can be an opportunity for the company to grow. All right? And then, if we are talking about a leader that sees what is happening outside the company and understand what is happening also inside the organization, we are talking in the very first place, we are talking about a highly qualified person. And so when a boring professor like me suggests you to study, to travel, to learn more about subject, please, you need to engage, because indeed we are playing this role to build a baseline of competences to help you develop yourself as a leader, a successful professional, as a someone that advances both your company and your community. Sure, you can do this all by yourself. A leader is especially a collaborative member of a team. He is or she is a responsible manager, an effective leader, a constructor of long-term excellence inside the organization. He or she is always searching for daily enhancements. It may be small step-by-step innovations and also can be disruptive innovations. A leader is always searching for something better every single day. And he or she surrounds themselves with an excellent team. If you are not sure if a person is the right person for a given position, if you are questioning yourself, don't hire that person. James Collins suggests in his book, Good to Great, when you have to replace someone from your team, if a person is not performing well, change his or her activity right away, replace this person right away. Teams are the most important part, they are the driving force of a company. I know that you have been all seen Hollywood movies when a hero finds a solution for everybody, a single person taking care of everything. Life is not like that. Life, companies, societies, all of these are moved by groups of people searching for the best way to manage those groups, shape those groups, select the right persons, and designate the best persons to do the most important tasks. This is the role of a leader inside an organization. And I always suggest, following the suggestions of Professor James Collins, that you place yourself as a provocative leader, a leader that makes questions, that challenges people intellectually instead of imposing answers. Someone who dialogues, discuss instead of imposing ideas. Someone that searches for mistakes and help people to do it better. Every day that goes by, we can and we must find a new way to work. And the role of a leader is to support people in this important development. In short, be aware of the problems of the company. And finally, inside the team, allocate talents mainly based on people's hearts. Let me explain this to you because it's real important. The idea is that a leader is capable of making people excel at the tasks which they are in love with. A good leader is capable of identifying who likes to do what and reallocate those people according to their strengths. It multiplies the efficiency of the team and the productivity of the company at large. Okay? Well, that said, this short presentation is wrapping up very quickly, discussing leadership and how leadership based on innovation, based on entrepreneurial actions, is built inside organizations. So we are I'm going now to start our Q&A session, but just before that, I'd like to remind you that we are in the last days for the deadline for you to apply for our scholarship abroad to study with IBS Americas. This is a great opportunity for you to attend an intensive 3-week program in different areas of administration. These programs are organized by IBS Americas, and that includes visits to companies in the region you are studying, where the programs are held. Besides the visits to important organizations, you will have the chance to learn current topics in business world, gain deep knowledge in management, develop your English skills, of course, meet people from all over the world, and even better, with the support of a scholarship. So do not miss this chance, get to know our programs, access the information we are sharing with you. You can email me, perhaps I can help you with more information, but don't lose this chance of getting a scholarship. The application form deadlines is this next Sunday. So get in touch with us, and now let's chat about the subject of this lecture today. All right? Well, while you are still writing your question at the right of your screen, I don't know how many people are with us, Vinny. Vinny will let me know when the questions are arriving for us, okay? I have here a couple questions that I will start with them, if you don't mind. I have a question from Mr. Connor Maxtravich. I don't know if I pronounced properly your name. I'm sorry, sir. From the United Kingdom. He studies at the Ulster University. What is the best method for securing the initial fund for a startup? He's thinking about entrepreneurial actions. Well, congratulations, Connor. I wish you all the luck in this process. You need for starting this new endeavor for yourself, you need to have a minimum viable product in your hands. Because if the investor is not able to see what are you planning to offer to your client, if you are not able to show this MVP, the minimum viable product in his hands, or in the under the bank, the investment bank perspective, it's not a viable product yet, you will have difficult to collect funds from people. But based upon this, you need to give the next step, which is talking to people that can see value in your idea and secure the investment necessary for this. There will be a lot of legal issues for you to discuss. I highly recommend you to read some, well, there are lots of information about it available in the internet, but perhaps you may talk to a lawyer, to a counselor that can help you with information about how to disclosure your ideas, how to present your plans without facing the risk of getting of someone gets your idea and invest in it by themselves. Okay, good luck, my friends, and looking forward to seeing you in our programs. Perhaps one of our programs can help you to develop this baseline of knowledge to leverage your plans. Okay, I have here another question from Mr. Johnson. He studies at the Management College of Southern Africa. How does one begin to feel like a leader? Well, it's a very subjective question, but leaders are not built overnight. You start sharing your perspective with your colleagues. You start realizing what is going on outside, bringing new ideas, giving air for the company you work for to breathe. So you'll be developing these leadership competences in a daily basis, and it's not going to be overnight, but sooner or later you'll be a leader in your organization. The organizations need leaders. Just people that do every day what they are told to do are not the best people for a company, especially in today's world. Today's world is evolving very quickly. We ask a member of our team to do something, he or she needs to realize if it's the best way to do that, if it's the best task for them to perform. If it's not, he or she needs to suggest other ideas. And these competence are the leadership competence that we try to encourage you to embrace. All right? Thank you very much, Johnson, for your question. I have here a question from Seng Radin, a student at the University of Queensland, Australia. Are leaders born or made? That's a very interesting question. I know that there is some people that naturally are, let's say, charismatic people, popular among their friends. Is this enough to be a leader? I don't think so. They can be very important in organize the weekend barbecue or someone's birthday party. But if they are leading or not their company towards the future, if they are creating new perspectives of a company, if they are opening new markets for the organization he or she works for, it's a different story. Yeah? So being popular, being charismatic, being communicative helps, all right, it helps. You can develop these skills too, but you need to develop the leadership skills that I have presented to you, okay? Thank you very much for being with us. I have here a question from Morocco, Africa. Mr. Ab- Abnegal asks, what are the essential tips to be a good leader? Well, I have shared some ideas with you, but let me give you another one. Don't try to impose yourself over your colleagues. A good leader is a servant of their colleagues. Is a person that don't try to draw all attention to himself or to herself, but try to draw attention to the group, make the group excel in the tasks they are addressed to. So a leader is a humble person, even a shy person, a person that prefers the success of the group, of the company, of the team, and put himself or herself in the second place. Believe me, any good team and any successful organization have a lot of leaders inside it. And it's important for you to qualify yourself to be a good leader. Okay? Thank you very much for your question. I have a last question among those who were sent in anticipation. Then I will move towards the question you are sending now live to us. Mr. Nilab from Pakistan, he studies at the University of Peshawar, asks, what is the core impact of entrepreneurs in the business level of economic level? Well, I believe entrepreneurs help the community to prosper because they open new opportunities for people to deliver value to the clients. They help the country as a whole to prosper because they are always looking for better way to use the resources and put people to work towards the interest of the community. So, although we usually think entrepreneurship as an individual action for an individual solution, we gotta think differently. We gotta open to our broadened perspective. In a broad perspective, certainly entrepreneurship skills develop people, develop companies, but also develop the nation at a large. All right. Thank you very much for sending your question here. And please, Vinny, what are the questions that we are receiving now?
We have a question from our colleague Andrea Essam. Her question is, why should a leader lead with questions, not answers?
Well, that's a wonderful question, Brett. Thank you very much for being with us. Think with me. If I impose over my team my ideas, if I say, don't think, do what I say to you to do, of course they will produce today something, but in the long term, what do I have in hand? Do I have someone with capacity to think, capacity to interact? No, I will be just having people that follow orders. And it's not interesting for me. For me, it's important having a group that cooperate with me, bringing new ideas, questioning my ideas, and helping the team, helping myself to grow together. So that's why it's very important to be a provocative leader, a leader that helps people to think. Of course, they will make mistakes, but they will mature in the process, and it will help the company to mature as a whole the same way. All right, Andre. Thank you very much. It's my honor being the opportunity of talking to you live here, and I encourage you to join us in our short-term programs. It's a great opportunity for you to spend your vacation, summer or winter vacation abroad, experiencing the world, get in touch with students from all over the world, having classes with professors from other countries, visiting companies abroad, and developing your international network. Okay? Thank you very much, Andre.
We have one more from Mr. Prince Gideon. Firstly, he says, the content of the lecture is extremely depth in analysis and globally contextualized.
Thank you very much, sir.
The question, what is the distinctive differences between entrepreneurial leadership and servant leadership?
You know what? I believe you can and you need to be both at the same time. When you when you talk about leadership, the idea is that you are able to create new processes, new ways of developing your daily activities. You are able to open new possibilities for your company to follow. These are the key competences a leader must have. And if you are entrepreneurial leader, like you are opening your own company, or if you are working inside an organization and try to promote new actions inside this organization, which we call intra-entrepreneurship, but it's entrepreneurship anyway, you will be important, relevant for the society, for the company, for your community, and for yourself the same way. All right? Thank you very much for sharing your opinion with us. And we are running out of time, unfortunately. I will answer the last question of today. Please, Vinny.
From our colleague Umaima Kanusa, should a leader be omniscient?
Well, I'm not sure if I understand what you mean by that, but um, what I believe is, well, please.
Omniscient is a person who knows everything.
Well, I was thinking about it, but nobody knows everything. Of course, a leader must be someone very well informed about the company he or she works for, the market the company is trying to conquer, etc. But knowing everything, I don't know. What I believe is that if a company opens discussion with their community. Their employees are encouraged, not only authorized, but encouraged to bring new ideas. The knowledge of the company as a whole will increase exponentially. And that's the benefit, complementing what I have told a couple minutes ago to Andre, that's the benefit of a leader that is open to dialogue with their colleagues, because the more eyes we have, the more minds we have working for the company, the better will be the solutions the company will be able to enjoy. All right? Once more, it's my pleasure having your participation in this chat. It's an honor for me having the opportunity of talking to young students from all over the world like we are doing today. It's an opportunity for me to learn with you. So thank you very much for joining us today. And I'm looking forward to welcoming here your application form for our scholarship program. You have the opportunity of traveling abroad, traveling to other continents, enjoying classes, company visits abroad, and seeing the world, which is going to be important for your personal and academic development. All right? Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day and looking forward to seeing you soon. Bye bye.